Well, hey there, we had another question come in for Ask a Pastor, and this one says in Daniel 4:25, it says, "Until you acknowledge that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes." The question then is, how does that work out in regards to the temptation of Jesus when Satan tried to tempt Jesus with all the kingdoms of the world? Because Satan said that they had been given to him. This is in Luke chapter 4, verse 6. The first one in Daniel chapter 4 is in reference to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was king of Babylon and really king of the whole world at the time. And God had threatened him and told him in a dream that he was going to take his sanity away and he'd be insane for 7 years. He would live out in the field with the animals and eat grass and so forth, until he acknowledged that God was sovereign over all the kingdoms of the world. And so, in simply answering this, I'm just going to say one thing. No matter what you're looking at in the Bible, no matter what you're trying to figure out, context is king. Okay? Context. What they're talking about in that portion of Scripture, what comes before it and what comes after it. So, in the context of Nebuchadnezzar, he was the most powerful king on earth, and God was saying, look, you're not powerful by your own strength or your own wisdom or what have you. You're powerful and you're ruling the world because I put you in that place. And you need to come to a position of acknowledging that I'm the one that put you in there, that I establish kingdoms and I take kingdoms down. All right. Nebuchadnezzar was basically thinking of himself as a god. He was the Almighty, et cetera, et cetera. And God said, you know what? We're gonna bring this down a notch. And once you acknowledge that I'm the one that puts people in authority, then you'll be able to rule again. And that's confirmed also in Romans. We're told that there is no authority, there's no governing figures that God hasn't put in place. So that's the context of Nebuchadnezzar's situation there in Daniel. The context in Luke chapter 4 with Satan tempting Jesus is a spiritual context and not the context of physically ruling, being the president or the king or the queen or whatever of different countries. Satan was trying to get Jesus to bow down to him. Satan was trying to get Jesus, trying to give him a shortcut to the spiritual authority that had been handed over when Adam and Eve ate the fruit. So again, context is key. We're told in Ephesians 2, verse 2. Let me pull this out here so I don't misquote it. As for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins, that's verse 1, in which you used to live when you followed the ways of this world and the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. That's a reference to Satan himself. And then, let's see, verse 12. Oh, not that verse 12. What verse 12 am I going to? 6. In Ephesians 6:12, it says, our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. So, again, context is king. It was physical, literal human rulers in Nebuchadnezzar's time. That was the context. And with Jesus and Satan in the desert for 40 days, it was spiritual rulership. All right. I hope that helps. We'll talk to you next time. Keep the questions coming.